This video you're about to watch is from a real Sales.io student getting real results. This is a behind the scenes footage of an actual private one-to-one coaching call that I've had with this student. So this goes through a lot of advanced mechanisms in psychology, a lot of advanced mechanisms in having the prospect open a lot faster. If you're working with parents and multiple decision makers, that's also discussed on this call. If you're looking at how to reframe better, that is also discussed on this call. So anything that you can think of in terms of persuasion, these are the actual real mechanisms and role plays that I do live with students to actually make sure that these are instinctual concepts. A lot of the things that you're learning online, they don't become instinctual for you, and therefore they don't actually create real results in your company and in your results as a closer. So I go through all the different reframes, different things I would think about. One really cool frame, which I haven't revealed to the public yet, called like living in the gray frame, which is a very cool one that is a little bit more advanced. I'm just sharing that with you. So all I ask is like take notes on this, make sure that you apply it and share this with anyone that needs to see this so that they can, have those results too. And we can just kind of grow together, actually having practical sales advice that works to persuade people and give you these disproportionate unlocks. So enjoy the video and I'll see you on the other side.
Now, how would you recommend just building more of that urgency? Because I feel like I'll be honest, even with the prospect themselves, sometimes like I tap into it, I explore the possibility of cost of inaction. How do
Yeah.
you just like make sure you solidify that?
So cost of inaction. So you just like, and I'm sure you thought of this, but so many players will just put their dreams on the side and they'll just kind of let it sit there. And they don't realize the cost that builds up every single month that they put off living their dreams. Right. And that's why I really respect talking to you because you don't think like that, but like, right, you can really just hit the identity things. Right. That's why I'm talking to you. Like, that's why I enjoy talking to you because you don't think like that. But like so many people will just let this cost build up. And it truly is a cost, right? Every single month, month one goes by, month two, months three, right? It's this thing where it's like this piling up of regret, this piling up of you could be doing something more. So what if you allowed that to happen and you kept putting off actually truly stepping into being the pro version of yourself, what would that like the cost you if you went down that path? Okay, what would be the consequences to yourself? What would be the consequences of this? Right? And then you can add the disclaimers of, well, it's the frame of like, and this may sound like, I know you're not even going to go there, but like, this as well as me, the best athletes, they think of opportunity costs. They think of like, if I don't do something, what is that going to cost me? So I'm sure you thought of this, but like really meditate on it. Like, what would this actually cost your son? What would this cost everyone involved here if you just allowed him to keep doing the same thing, right? Because that's the most insidious thing, Barbara, is the gray zone, the gray zone where everything's kind of going okay. That's what's going to get you in 5 years. That's what's going to get you in 10 years is the gray zone of, oh, I kind of tried and we kind of did good. And like we almost got it, but we didn't quite make it. That's everyone's story. And I don't want that to be your story. And like that's why you're on the call today is you want to do as best as you can to guarantee this for your son. So what if you stayed in that gray zone of just being kind of good enough, just being another person that's putting in their hard work, but just maybe not getting over the threshold? What would that cost you if you just stayed at good enough? A lot of good frames. You can just use this on everyone, not just parents. So that's cost of inaction. And then you have us versus them frame, which I hit on that. Like, I mean, a lot of reframes is just us versus them kind of thing, but you can do that for why now, right? So many people, they'll see the value obviously in becoming pro, like who wouldn't, right? It's not that they don't see the value. It's that they let the busiest of life get in the way of the vision of their goals. They let short-term desires, they let fears. I don't even like it's weird, right? It's almost like they know it's great for them, but they just want to think about it. They just want to put it off because they're almost scared to like step into that version of themselves, right? So like for you, with the busyness that you're doing, supporting the family, with the busyness that your son is doing, with all the different things that you could use as excuses, why is this a priority for you now to make it work and to actually have your son become that pro? So that'd be that one. And then the next would be decisions. This one's really good. Learned this one from Chase Hughes. Can't take credit for this one. I'll take credit for the first two, but I can't take credit for this one. Is the decisions one. So you can do like a frame within the thing where it's like, and that's the thing with like decisions is like when you know your values, decisions just come easily to you, right? You just know exactly what to do when an opportunity comes because you realize it's not about the decision, it's about the values behind the decision, right? So why is the value of greatness and not just settling for an okay plan? Why is that so important for you? And why is that a value you uphold? So you can do subtle things like that. So that's kind of we're hitting costs of inaction of like this pain is going to build up if you allow the cycle to continue. We're doing us versus them frames for the why now. And then we're also doing kind of this imprint where we create the premise that decisions are easy or decisions are effortless if you know your value. So then we're reducing the I need to think about it. Another thing I do to increase urgency too is you need to make them feel intelligent. So always be labeling them as well researched, right? Sounds like you know what you're talking about. Sounds like you know exactly what you're doing, right? You know, that kind of vibe. Okay, it sounds like you're not just the average parent that comes in here as new to this, right? You know you've been doing all these different things and you've been trying the hardest, right? Another one too, so that would be making them intelligent. Another one is realization that they can't do it themselves, which is similar to cost of inaction, but not really. So it's like, when was that moment where you realized that, like, because you're a parent putting in that work, right? You're not like an average parent that's just kind of hoping their son becomes pro. You're on this call, you're clearly doing things. But like, when did you realize that like you didn't want to keep going alone at this? Like, when was that shifting point? So I feel like every parent we work with has that point. They're always going out there, they're always going to the games, they're always showing up because they care, but they only have so much power, right? That not every parent is a FIFA licensed agent, right? And doing all these different things, right? So like when was that turning point for you where you realized like you were open to help and you realized you couldn't do it by yourself? You realized you couldn't do it by yourself. So important. So hit that. You should be hitting like obviously pain. So pain should be very compounding. How's this impacting you? How's this hitting this? How's this hitting that? Having it really expand. Make sure that you get everyone to say it out loud, right? So you want to make sure that you're engaging every single person in the conversation. So whenever you have multiple people on the call, it's the exact same process. You're just going, hey, what would that impact to you, Tommy? Oh, this impact. Well, and from your perspective, Barbara, right? She's Barbara, what would be the impact, right? And then Barbara's gonna say her piece, right? Okay, and then fucking Dan, what do you think is like the fucking thing, right? And then it allows them all to expand on the pain and it's just unified. So I could keep going with all of this, but like you would want to rank yourself and be like, okay, was I hitting these psychological principles? Because if you're hitting that, it's harder for them to say at the end, okay, we need to all talk amongst ourselves. That doesn't happen anymore because like there's such clear pain, there's such clear conviction in themselves. Like it's just it doesn't make sense for the context of the conversation, right? A way it was beautifully explained to me was this is an OG lesson that Ty Lopez had, but he gave the example of like markers, selling markers and you know you can sell a cheap marker or an expensive marker, right? So he did a one where it's like an expensive marker, and the whole idea was within the pitch the objections and preventing the objections were weaved in. So he's like, yeah, like you know this marker right here, it's more expensive, but the reason that it's more expensive is it actually lasts longer because the actual tip, it's German engineered, but it actually retains ink longer. And then you just have bolder lines and it's this whole thing. And he's building it up and, you know, okay, the handle, this is actually designed by the same person that designed the seats in the Porsches, right? So it has the same there. So it's more comfortable. So you're just more confident when you're writing, but then it actually lasts longer. That's like kind of the surprising thing with it as well, right? And that's why it's more expensive, right? So that's just a random example, but see how nonsensical it would be at the end for the person to be like, "Oh, why is it so expensive?" Well, it's like the whole thing was around that, so like that's not even a premise of it. It's like, okay, I want to do it because of that. So it's the same thing with the conditions at the end of like, oh, well, yeah, we just need to talk to it amongst ourselves. Well, I want that to be so nonsensical for them to like even fucking say that it doesn't make any sense. Like, what do you mean? You just said that like everything would fall apart. You just admitted that you can't do this by yourself. You just emitted XYZ, you just emitted XYZ, and you start stacking. Wait, run trigger by itself is not going to hit, but you just start stacking the triggers, stacking the triggers. It becomes completely nonsensical for them to be like, oh yeah, we just need to like go reflect about it and stuff, and let's have 4 meetings about it. Like
Mhm.
it doesn't happen anymore. It could still happen, and then you can adapt for it, but like that shouldn't be the main thing of like building your whole strategy off that. It should be like, how can I just make that not even an option that happens?
Hmm. Yeah. How can I just make that not even an option?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is amazing. Yeah, I think that's exactly what it is. Just building more cost of an action because then it's just that cost is greater than anything that could be attached to like the investment and pain as well. Really digging into pain, all these things. Now I know I was speaking to Tommy, Tommy. We were like talking about like the training you did, like the 6 needs. We were trying to like just implement that like on a role play. He was telling me about like how I'm not sure if this is your framework, but like it's like pain, opportunity, desire, and consequence. I think I don't know if that challenge. I don't know. Responsibility. I forget, but like, do you have like a framework that you follow like that? Because I see the pain, responsibility is kind of like tied into like the consequence, I guess. Like, do you have?
Yeah. So yeah, my framework is pain,
Mhm.
responsibility, goal state, and then methodology.
Okay.
Responsibility is like the most signature thing that I see no one talk about that I feel like is just so good because responsibility hits a lot of things. It hits locus of control. So you're turning it to an internal locus of control. It's hitting identity too, because when you turn anything to an internal locus of control, you hit identity. Time, this is more of a philosophical insight, but time is the same thing as responsibility. That if you have someone that says, hey, I need to do this and it's costing this for me and like this hurts my identity and it's my sole responsibility and everything's gonna fall apart, but I'm gonna do it later. It just can't happen as easily in the brain. It's just like too much of an incongruence. So responsibility, if responsibility is at 100, time objections typically melt away
Mhm.
because they're no longer in the future of their mind or the past of their fears. The only thing they have is the present moment, and it's a core realization that essentially time doesn't exist, and that the only thing that they can do is just take action. So that's why that one's so important. Responsibility is also the thing that allows them to face fears, right? So it's the classic thing of we want to build pain first because people run away from a burning building faster than they'll run to the dream house. But what is the thing I always add to that is what would allow someone to run into a burning building? And the only thing that would allow someone to run into a burning building is identity. Because identity is I am a firefighter. I am a person that saves my community. I am a person that can handle pain. I am a person that is responsible for this. That is the only thing that they'll willingly go through pain for some type of perceived long-term benefit. So that's why you really anchor within responsibilities. Why aren't you willing to settle for this? What happens if you don't settle for this? Okay, obstacles are going to come up. What are you going to do? Okay, are you really going to change? You're just telling that to me, and you're getting them to qualify themselves to you after pain. So you've escalated pain, and now you're getting them to take responsibility for pain. And then after that, I then lift them up into the goal state. What are some quick wins? Okay, and then what are your long-term goals? And then I future pace methodology so that I get them to sell themselves on the process before I even like pitch them, get them to agree with the path and see how the path is a part of their goal and that it's not segmented. I start to implant false memories that the goal is synonymous with purchasing the program.
That last part, the goal, you start to implant false memories. That goal is synonymous with purchasing a program. What do you mean by that?
Some people, it sounds obvious, but some people will have it. Okay, what do you want as a goal? Okay, I want a Maserati and I want this and I want that. And it's like this beautiful picture. But as they're painting the picture, they're not associating the fact that they're within the program with the picture as strongly as they could. And it's easier to be like, okay, so like as you're like learning the techniques that unlock you to have more, seduction power, or if you're kind of unlocking the techniques to allow you to be more of a pro football player, how do you want that actually impacting other people? So like as I'm doing future pacing, I'm cross blending the fact that the program is a part of the goal state.
Wow, that is, yeah.
So subtle, but like, and it just it's like one of those things that sound like common sense. Like, oh, why the fuck wouldn't you want to do that? No one really teaches it. And it's something you just kind of realize over time is I want to blend goal state into that, right?
Yeah, that is huge. Wow, this is like a whole masterclass, man. I have like a bunch of notes here. That is sick. Um, yeah, okay. Well, obviously, I want to take like two actionable steps from this call. I feel like the biggest thing for me right now, because I know you do you have a training on locus of control? I think
No, I don't.
you don't. Okay.
I'll write that down.
Yeah. Because I remember Tommy was talking about it as well. You mentioned that. Or I think I saw it in your training, the six needs training. I think Tommy mentioned it in a question he was asking. But
Yeah, locus of control is like you can either it's just a psychological concept, you can research it, but it's just a person's belief of how much control do they have over reality and why it applies to salespeople is we want them to believe that they control the reality. Because all objections live in externalizations by definition. And that applies to your own life, right? So all low frequency shit, all the way that you procrastinate is victimhood. So external locus of control is outside of myself. So victimhood, oh, it's the economy. It's not me. It was the weather. It was this. I just wasn't trying. It's all externalization. Internal is it's my sole responsibility. It's causing me issues, right? And it does something to the human brain to actually motivate and create pain. So locus of control, it's more talked about as an identity thing. I think of it too as like a way to multiply pain. That if I have a 10 out of 10 pain sequence, if I have also a 10 out of 10 locus of control, that's like 100 of pain, right? Versus like a 5 locus of control. If I have a really good pain sequence and it's 10, and then also like a 1 locus of control, it's like doesn't expand. It's just like very neutral. So
mm,
like it multiplies pain the closer you get to them. And the reason why it multiplies pain is identity. Like external locus of control segments life into blocks that are separate from you. So here's my health, here's this, here's that. It like piecemeals everything. Internal unifies everything. So the fact that it unifies thing, it then expands pain to every subfacet of reality. So it expands it to like both the gym, both how people are looking at you. So it attacks all levels of the hierarchy, including survival, versus just attacking silos of their perceived life. So pain is able to expand more.
mm,
And then
I
along with the urgency and ability to solve that pain.
I see. Yeah, I can definitely see how it expands it more because it's like you realize, holy, it's literally like within my own control. I can no longer point fingers, right? To put it simply, like,
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely know how that feels. Um, nice. And then, so my last question, it's not really like a big question, but more than anything, it's like two things I want to focus on is expanding like that cost of inaction and expanding pain. I feel like that's also tied into like beliefs, maybe not beliefs, but like the way I can like picture in my head is like if you have like an this might sound funny, but like an older brother who's been through like a lot, he can like talk through experience and be like, hey man, like what are you doing? Like do you know like what is it's costing you to like put things off, procrastinate? Like how would that impact you? Because they're speaking from like experience, like they know the consequences. As a closer, like as a setter, how can you develop more of that like belief or not belief? Maybe that's not the right word, but like that perspective where like you embody and like these questions just come natural because you know like the actual cost of not doing anything, you know like the pain of not doing anything. How do you like develop that more? Because I don't want to like memorize questions, and I can obviously like tap into it like from personal experience, but like I don't want to like I want to just embody that so like I can lead them through a call. Like, does that make sense? I'm not sure if that makes sense.
So your question is how do you ask these like effortlessly?
Yes, exactly.
Did
Because
you
you
say?
know, yeah, exactly. Hmm.
Yeah, so I mean it's a classic combination of like experience, you just do it all the time and then it comes to you, but it really is like the congruence thing, right? If you're already on that path with this, like but speaking your life into existence every single day and every single week and having just such an impeccable detail to reality and like a cleanliness and just a way that you go through life that will radiate on the call for you to call out these incongruencies a lot faster and feel confident when you do call out the incongruencies. So like then people just feel that energy transfer because you're just like, no, this doesn't make any sense. And I'm going to tell you why it doesn't make any sense. And then just people believe you. And then it's congruent. It's just easy for you. So it's a combination, I guess, if we had to simplify it into, simple the CC formula, it's conviction and congruence. Like if you're living in massive congruence in your own life every detail is impeccable, and you hold your own self to that high standard, then reality has no other choice but then to reflect that as a mirror in the prospect in front of you. And then conviction is the very mechanism that will transfer your belief over to them and then have them be like, okay, like I believe him and it makes sense to me, right?
Mm.
So that combination, and then I would couple that all into with the meta belief of what I need to say will come to me in the moment at which I need it most. So you kind of say like a meditation to yourself, right? I will have the tools that I've been learning of persuasion, of influence come to me when I need it to come to me to serve this person to the best of my ability. And I trust my body, my soul, my spirit, the universe to guide me at the appropriate time to do this. And then you just go in. And that is like the leading affirmation that is going in. And then you just have wrapped presence around that person, because that's what allows you to actually tap into the universe, right?
Mm.
Your mind is what takes you out of the universal flow. Tapping into the moment is what allows you to be in the universal flow. If you're in your head, you're dead. If you're in the moment, you're in reality transurfing.
Mm. Well, what a way to end the call, man. What a way to end the call. Amazing. No, appreciate that call. I have a lot of good stuff here. And yeah, that congruence piece is huge. So appreciate that insight.
So that right there is just one example, one call. These calls are happening all the time within sales.io and within the online offers that we manage. So number one, if you're a business owner, you can hit the link below. We have a free audit process that we do. So you get a complimentary audit where I can look at it, JJ, Scott, all the different people at sales.io, and we can actually have a look at your sales process so that your reps can have this level of understanding. But if you are a closer, we also have Sales.io, which is one of the fastest growing and best sales training mechanisms ever created on the planet. That follows a process that I've created called change work, where you can pretty much use all these mechanisms that I've been talking about to create radical change in people. We have a wait list for that, so you can also join the wait list with the link below if you're an individual closer looking to get to the next level of all of this. Other than that, subscribe to the channel. I'm just going to keep dropping the best free content around this and just sharing some of the private conversations we have. And then we always have that pathway for allowing people to go to the next level so that they can keep transcending and winning at life. So thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.